Hello and welcome to another video of Personal Finance New Zealand with your host Labuschagne. And today we're talking about stock research and the tools that I use on how to research stocks to find information about them, so I know whether I should invest in them. So this is something that I'll probably be talking a bit more about going forward on my channel. I might do some videos about some basics around how to research stocks and analyze stocks, but today I thought I'd just do a really sort of fundamental one, and that's what tools, what websites do I actually use to get information on, to actually start looking at a company. So the first one is Yahoo Finance. Now this one is a really great website to just get some really basic, public information, the stock price, the PE ratio, the market cap, these sort of things. And you can also get some financial data, so you can get like the last 3 years or so of financial data. And it's just really good to sort of see like just some basic numbers just to start to understand how this company works. So the next one is Morningstar. This is very similar to Yahoo Finance. Again, if you go to financials, this time they're going to give you a sort of snapshot, simplified view, and this is really good, especially for the cash flow statement. You get free cash flow and you just get some really simple numbers. Okay, Apple made 92 billion of free cash flow last year. Well, 93. But if you go to the detailed view, you can actually see that you get 5 years of data. So I've got 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020, and 2021. And I've also got TTM, which is the trailing 12 months. And this will give you every single line item directly out from the annual report for the company, or the 10K. So that's a really great website to use. They also have valuation, all your normal valuation metrics: PE, price to cash flow, price to book, price to forward earnings, and you also can, this one's pretty cool, you can look at who the key executive team is and also their compensation. So this is good for when you're looking through the management of a company to see whether their compensation is aligned with shareholders. And you can sort of break it down to, like how many shares that they own, and even recent transactions that they've been doing. So the next website is sort of the next step up in my opinion, and that's QuickFS. They give you 10 years of financial data usually, which is probably the minimum I would say that you would need to have a proper sort of perspective look at a company. And you're going to get 10 years of revenue numbers, 10 years of earnings per share, and you also have all your valuation metrics, PE, and you have 10-year median returns for all your return management effectiveness, so return on assets, return on equity, return on invested capital. You have a 10-year annualized growth numbers, so you can see revenues grown 12.9% a year for the last 10 years for Apple, which is incredible. And the main one that I really like about QuickFS that I use a lot is if you create a free account, then you get access to this key ratios tab, and if you scroll down to supplementary items, you can see you've got 10 years of free cash flow data that's already calculated for me, and I can use for my valuation. So that's super helpful, and yeah, it gives you a really good look of how the company's been tracking over a long period of time. The next one I want to talk about briefly is TIKR Terminal. Now this is sort of QuickFS on steroids, because it's got more of the charting, and it's got even more data. So like, for example, I can drag this slide out and now I've got like, what is this, since 2005, and I can click on any of these line items. So I can look at cash flow, I can look at cash from operations. So you can see this is the revenue of the company, and then this is how much cash they produced from those operations when it's all said and done. You also get valuation, which is like analyst estimates and that sort of thing. You get revenue estimates, all these sort of estimates here. Again, you can drag the slide out all the way back. You also get call transcripts, so you can see like earnings call. You get like the full transcript of that call, so you can read through that if you really want to. You get all the public filings, so these are like the 8K and the 10Q, which is the annual and the quarterly reports that are submitted from the company to the SEC in the US. And it works for any country, so I can do New Zealand companies as well. And this is a really cool one. You can see shareholders and insider transactions, so I can see which insiders in the Apple company have been buying and selling recently, which is also pretty useful. One other quick one I want to mention is Jarden Direct or ASB Securities here in New Zealand. So if you just set up an account with them, you don't ever have to make any trades with them. You get free access to market depth for the NZX. So you can see here A2 milk. You can see all the bid and asks for the company. So if you want that sort of information, that's available to you. I think they also have sort of valuation, yeah, so they got like a DCF thing, so they reckon A2 milk's undervalued, but yeah. And you also have some analyst estimates for revenue and that sort of stuff once again. The other thing is a good place to look is just investor relation pages with whatever company you're looking at. This is going to be the most up-to-date, accurate information. It may be a little bit more difficult to read through just because it's more, long-winded, but it is going to be very accurate, and sometimes it is necessary to just double-check all your numbers, especially just before you make an investment, just to make sure that these aggregate websites that are collecting this data for you are actually accurate, which is not always the case. Lastly, we have, second to last, we have any of the stock exchanges. They all have websites where you can look at some basic information about the company, and you also have company announcements. So this is going to be the best place to come and have a look at whenever a company releases any information that could be useful to investors. This is where you want to come and look for that. And I check this quite often for the companies that I'm following, and that goes for any stock market. So it could be the Australian market, or it could be the US market, or wherever it could be. Now lastly is the websites called like Whale Wisdom or Dataroma. So these websites sort of break down the 13F filings, which are filings that people or companies or individuals in the States, they have to report what things that they own if they have more than 100 million of assets. It is delayed by 45 days at the maximum, but you are able to see sort of what they own. So here's Berkshire Hathaway. You can see that currently they own 887 million shares of Apple, and you can also see like what things they're buying and selling every quarter, which is pretty useful for getting ideas. So that's sort of a broad, quick look at the tools that I use to research stocks, get ideas, that sort of thing. I hope you've found it useful, and I hope it helps you in your investing, and yeah, look forward to some more individual stock videos coming up on the channel, hopefully. Thanks for watching.